But if you're not planning on truly becoming free, if you are using this class to like figure out what's going to happen in the world, don't even bother finishing the year, because I'm going to keep it real. I mean, I have been taken to places in different parallel realities of Earth and where it's going to go. And it all has to do with your relationship with you, no one else. Had nothing to do with your job, had nothing to do with the government, has nothing to do with anything but this. Okay? Because you cannot start to use your electromagnetic energy to command the word of God if your body's like, I don't trust you. And I don't even know if I like you. I'd rather listen to the voice over there that says you're an idiot. Okay? Because the Matrix has taught us to be enslaved. So we're slaves in our body, we're slaves over here, we're slaves over there, we're slaves. And Divine Feminine, you signed a clause that said that if you fell out of line, you would be bullied or beaten or killed. So feminine energy has a whole other, the feminine energy is the target in the Matrix because you contain dark matter. And I will explain that in the Jedi class, what dark matter is. You guys, for you guys who are not joining, you don't even need to know. Don't even delete it, okay? Because it's just going to then make the Matrix put more thoughts in your head about, well, what is that? Don't worry about it. Because the way it's going to work is regardless of what choice you make, you're not going to be aware of the choice you made when you're making the choice. Okay, it's just like realizing that the past 4 years we've been choosing all of this. We had no idea we were choosing all of this. So whatever life you end up living, like say this time next year, is going to be the choices that you have made based on the choices you made when you first got here. Okay, if you don't go change those, because it's like now is the time where the next cycle of enslavement is coming. And this is when we want to go, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. And it's like, none of it is scary and none of it is bad. And it's just a game, you know? But again, we do lose access to our own soul when we don't nullify the contract, because we are looking at personal responsibility. We're like, I must be punished, like God must hate me. And so again, those are other programs that are there to make you actually hold your own contract. So it's like the contract says I will be a slave. So that means that there's going to be all these Matrix programs whispering in your ear and bots and all kinds of stuff that are going to remind you of that contract, so that you continue to enslave yourself, because they can't keep you a slave. They cannot. They cannot. There's nothing that you have signed energetically that you cannot get out of. But the trick is, or the mission is to figure out where and what you've signed. And then let's say you start working on some bigger ones and those start to clear. That's going to make more space for you. That's going to give you new awareness. And then you'll be like, oh, and this one's going to go, and this one's going to go, and this one's going to go. Because remember, like, if you can get out of the Matrix contract, then you have the kingdom of heaven, the territory, the dominion. And the reason why all the Matrix contracts have all, like, everything that's to do with the slavery stuff is all written out in water concepts, is because we don't have dominion over water. This is why our entire financial world was built over the water language: currency, liquid assets, banks. Okay, because as a child of God, you don't have dominion over the water. You have dominion over the earth, land, animals. Okay, so one of the first things that we're going to be doing in Jedi is we're going to be starting to use the animals lovingly, the wind, the fire, the earth, and because we have dominion over that. So when you start getting rid of some basic slavery programs, all this power is going to start coming back, and you're going to start playing with it. Which means that, did you know you can control the wind? Did you know you can control the fire? Did you know you can control the earth? Yes. But do you believe that? No, because you signed a contract that said you would forget. And then when you try to play, your body's like, I don't even know who you are. So you need my electromagnetic energy to move anything. And see, this is why we feel like we're not powerful creators, is because your body wants nothing to do with you because you've abandoned and rejected it. And it is loyal 100% to who feeds it and who is punishing it, just like a dog. Okay, so it's like, who feeds it and who pretends to love it? The Matrix. Where do you get all your stuff from? The Matrix. And so your body is going to be loyal to the system, not the consciousness. And so what I want to do the rest of this year in this class is give you a very powerful gift, whether you go with us or not, and that is to reclaim dominion over this. Okay, so that's what I want to work on. Then what we're going to be working on in the Jedi simultaneously is nullifying contracts. All kinds. You'll be so surprised what you signed up for. Not to mention that you can nullify past, present, future contracts and parallel contracts. So let's say something's going on in your reality right now that isn't even what you're doing, but in another timeline, a part of your fragmented consciousness is agreeing to something that affects you here. It affects you here because you are having simultaneous experiences all over the place, and all of your parallels affect you. Not to get too quantum right now, and I'm going to do my best to keep this as fourth grade as possible, because what we want to focus on is being the enlightened child. I'm not trying to take you into some crazy science, lawyer, contract signing. It's more of like, do you want to keep being a slave? Do you want to sign? You signed up to have poverty. Do you want to keep having that? You signed up to be sick. Do you want to keep doing that? So, and again, remember, Divine Feminine is going to have extra clauses, which means that you try to be free, Divine Feminine, someone in your family is going to be a bully, or the road is going to bully you, or the bank is going to bully you because you signed up. If you get too free, you're going to attract a bully to basically stronghold you back into slavery. And you're going to learn why, because the Divine Feminine is the one that contains the dark matter, and dark beings are dark matter. Okay, so let's jump into dominion of body, because that's where I want to go. I don't want to give you too much like a soap opera, but you're going to see that with the election, that nothing is going to be happening worse. It's just going to be, everything's going to be exposed. Okay, now exposure is illuminating what has always been there, but it's going to appear worse for a while. So it's just like this. When your body goes through recovering something, you're going to have to go through a detox process. And our collective has to go through a matrix detox process. Okay? And, that's not going to feel good all the time. But you can even nullify that. You can say, I don't choose to go through that. Because you guys know what it's like to buy a house. And you realize when you buy a house, you've already paid for it. So you're actually buying it twice. All right? Because one of the other things that you sign up for is to give your inheritance away the day you're born. And so you give your inheritance away, and then they play with that on the stock market. And every single time you sign your name anywhere, you're reinstating that they have full control over all of your assets. Okay? And that's just the actual physical contracts that we signed up to play. There's spiritual contracts. There's emotional contracts. And you'll be like, oh, this is overwhelming. But wouldn't you rather do it in this lifetime? Because eventually you're going to do it. Okay? And I'm not going to share with the people who are not going forward with us what is going to be happening on the other timelines, because now I have the whole download. I got all of it. And it ain't good for timeline 1. It's like, that game, like, what's behind door 1, 2, 3, right? And you're like, ooh, I choose. No, you don't want to choose door number 1. And so I would say, if you don't have a habit of taking responsibility for any of this, even if you're like, I know I must have created this, I don't know how, but I take responsibility, you're already in timeline 2. If you do not have any responsibility in any of this, you will be part of the grand experiment of timeline 1. And that is because you are taking no responsibility as a creator. All right. And you have created everything that is happening to you. And what happens is when you start to move away, the whole reason why Mr. Smith effects happens is to keep you under contract. So it's not like the Matrix, you're trying to get free and the Matrix is like, put her back in jail. No, your contract says if I get out of line, you're allowed to stronghold me. That's what our contract says. So the Mr. Smith effect is set up. So if I start getting out of my slave program, then I tell energetically something to come put me back in and drop my vibration. Yes, we're creating all of it. Every bit of it. So what puts us back to sleep, guys, is when we start feeling like victims. When we start to feel like, man, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and then this keeps happening, okay? And Divine Feminine is teaching me how to use all my superpowers, my divine. Anyone who has had a baby out there knows that one of your super senses during pregnancy is your sniffer, right? You mamas out there, you know, like certain smells, like you could smell like a wolf when you're pregnant. Well, when I turn my Divine Feminine energy back on, I can smell the Mr. Smith effect now. About a minute before it integrates. And I didn't even realize it, but it's like when you're pregnant and you can't be around leather, or you can't be around like vanilla or like cinnamon or something, it is because that substance is like actually like a charge against what you're trying to create. And it's one of your force fields as Divine Feminine. And I didn't realize that Mr. Smith has a smell. And so, and what's crazy about it is when this Mr. Smith starts to come through, even I can smell it on the computer. Like if my computer's about to freeze, I can smell it, but I have to be present because, you know, we're not that present and in the body all the time. And now I've been noticing it. Like my son did it to me the other night. I was like, oh my gosh, but it takes so much of the, why are you doing this to me? You know, out of the way, because I'm basically saying I came here to be a slave. And if I try to not be a slave, I give anybody that is a vibrational match to that access to Mr. Smith me. Okay. Oh, good. Yay, Andy, experiencing the smell. And then what that does is it gives you a little bit of a time buffer. And then you want to look at what program that you need to uncontract. Okay. So like, oh, I can't be free to tell the truth. Okay. So then someone's going to Mr. Smith me. You guys want to know what he did, right? So how many times are we like busting our guys' chops when they were literally just Mr. Smithing us, you know? And this is why if you take it personally, then you reactivate the contract. This is why you cannot react. You're just like, right? Because ladies, your Divine Feminine, once we really get it active, you're going to start like, you're not even going to believe how much power you have access to. And Divine Masculine, you have Divine Feminine energy too. You're going to do it differently. You're going to do it more out in the world. We're going to do it more on the DL, okay? Which is because we have to recover our own safety here. But it's going to be perfect for everyone involved. So let's get back to authority. Because if you're going to start deleting contracts, you need all of you. Okay, you can't do it from just your consciousness up here, because you won't have the like the lightning storm. Okay, so one little hint I will give you guys about dark matter is that the reason why there can be dark spiritual beings, because you'd be like, how's that possible? How can a spirit actually be dark? The spirit is not dark, but the spirit is trapped within what's called dark matter. And dark matter is 27% of the universe. Earth has 27% dark matter on her because she is the library of the universe. Okay, so this is a good place for dark matter to set up. Now, once light consciousness gets inside dark matter, it can never get out, ever. So it begins to form consciousness inside darkness, which is absence of source. And yet it's trapped light. Okay? Now, the difference between your physical experience and their physical experience is that you're going into a dark matter sequence too, but you have electromagnetic energy. Dark matter has no electromagnetic energy to change itself or to connect with source. And this is why they created rubber shoes. So you're not grounded. Everything in the matrix is designed to minimize your electromagnetic energy. Because the more electromagnetic energy you have, the more power you have in your commandments. Like you could command the Red Seas. No, notice Moses did not have rubber shoes. Okay, he wasn't wearing Nikes. He was wearing his Jesus kicks, and that was like, leather and whatever it was, wood. So it was a conduit for electricity. So heavy metal in the food depletes our electromagnetic energy. So basically what they're doing is slowly, generations, turning us into dark matter through our own fashion, through our own food choices, okay? Because the less electromagnetically I am charged, the less power my word has, okay? And if I say, I'm a child of God, and nothing happens, then I'm gonna be like, except for me. God doesn't love me. You see? And then that's a program. And so when you want to have a lot of authority, it's got to run through the whole planet and back up, and then everything will be affected by that. So the first thing we want to do is get really good authority with this. If you're going to take on the matrix, because what will happen is this: you'll start deleting programs, and your body's going to be like, okay. And then you've got built-in protection clauses. Oh, she was unconscious. That one doesn't count because she was out of body, right? And so everything we've been working on this year, and they're only giving me what my pay grade allows to. So as I become more of a receptive, like sovereign being, then they give me more information. But I'm just like you guys, they're not going to give me more than I can handle, because it's a lot to take in. And that's why I always want to present this in a childlike way, because it doesn't, none of this needs to scare you, because you knew exactly what you signed up for, but you just don't remember. Okay. And you can change everything on all dimensions, all planes, all past, present, future, all of it. You can change every bit of it. But there is just certain language and authority that is going to be required. So the first thing we want to do is just practice with what we would determine is authority. You cannot stronghold and beat your body into submission. Okay? You can't diet it and yell at it and expect it to be in service of you, because we want to build a loving relationship with our body. This is why we've been focusing on self-love and self-compassion, and being kind to the shame and the guilt and the stories and the entities. Because again, when you go into stronghold, or like avoiding or rejecting or abandonment, then what happens is that animal that you need to raise your consciousness and shift into a less animal being and more of a source being, it has to trust you. It has to like you. It has to know you have its back. Okay? So this week, what we want to do is spend time rehabilitating our rapport. Okay? Like before if you get a craving, right? You do not know if that's a body craving. It could be a matrix program, because they want you to be less electromagnetic. So they're going to have you eat something. Okay? So if your craving comes into the mind, I want you to sit down and say, body, what do you actually desire to eat? It will feel different, and it might be different. Because one thing I learned about the body in trance is your body actually really knows what it's supposed to eat. All right, so more authority. So practice, especially with your basic living situations, like your sleep. Okay, you're going to tell your body at night, and don't say fall, because your body doesn't like the feeling of falling. Do not say fall asleep. This puts you into the lower astral realm. So what you want to say is body-induced sleep. And you want to start talking to your system this way. Like when you're talking to your body, you're going to say body, and then you're going to give it direction. If you want to talk to your own mind, you say mind, and you talk to it and you give it direction. Oh, also, any of you who did the vaccine, I do hope you join us with the Jedi, because that's one you're going to want to null out. That one has a built-in zombie experience, which means that anyone has taken the vaccine at any given time, they could push a button and you will animate through the genetic and RNA poisoning. Okay. And so that was the whole idea. Now, again, you can nullify that. Let me give you a bonus, because I know I already know what you're thinking is, what about my family? Okay. Anyone in your universal construct is part of you. So by you actually deactivating that, okay, within yourself, then you cannot experience anybody else going rabid by you, which means that they will have it, but they will not be activated in your consciousness. So when you nullify this, if you did take it, you'll nullify yours and anyone in your own consciousness. Matter of fact, I think what we will do is we're going to nullify everybody. And then anybody that's in alignment with that will receive the nullification. I can't bypass free will, but I can say anyone who's asking in the conscious field for a solution to that vaccine will receive through us. But we cannot override free will. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, you guys can just ask questions. Let me see. Any prior childhood vaccine, any of it. When I say anything, Natalie, anything, you can nullify anything. You can, like, I had Illuminati contracts, guys, that I looked at last night. This one I never blew up on YouTube. They would have come after me. So now I know initiations, cults, religions. So of course, little vaccines in childhood, yes. But again, you are indestructible. You are immortal. You are like untouchable in your consciousness. But if you lose your soul on earth, you will be coming back. And how you lose your soul on earth is through the body. You lose your body, you lose your soul, because the soul is the blueprint. The body is the model of the blueprint. This is why they want the body, guys. This is also where the inner child is. So they get inner child and soul, because why else would they care about your body? If you were going to die and go right back to heaven, they would not care. It's because you have ownership of soul consciousness that can only be salvation through free will choice. This is why Jesus was the model. So the reason why Jesus came was to model free being. Okay? That's why if you break his name down, it means choose salvation. You're not committed to any of this, but you are until you make the choice not to. Even us having this conversation is going to start having things shift. Okay? Just being aware of, oh, that's a program. See, now you're bringing light and awareness to something that was in your blind spot before. Because the more dark matter that you start to accumulate in your body, the more of a possessed human you start to appear. Because, like I said, that 51% marker there, and the way that we need to do it first, and I'm not going to take, there's some teachers out there that are taking you right into contract removal, and if you don't have authority of your body, are you really having the sensation of clearing? Because when you're in your body and you clear one of these things, you feel space open. You're going to feel space that you didn't have before. And God always keeps telling me, make some space for me to glory through you. And I'm like, I'm 100 pounds wet. And he's like, that's not what I mean energetically. Okay. So I needed to get rid of this contract that basically allows me to become enslaved And then because I'm not connected to my system, then my soul will get stuck here. And then I will have to keep coming back to try to get it out. Okay? Because the spirit doesn't stay here, the soul gets stuck. And that's what they want. They want the soul. Because through the soul is the fragmented universe. It's an entire universe for them to develop and create and expand and, you know. But that's how powerful we are. We went and signed our whole lives away because we knew that we could change our mind. You know how I said last week, guys, we're going to start going from our heart to our mind? See, it's a change of mind because we're going to be thinking through the heart. And if every thought comes from the heart, then you've changed your mind. Now you're in your divine feminine instead of your masculine. And that goes for men and women because you've got to get into the feeling state and know how your body's really feeling, because 90% of the addictions that you guys are stuck with are matrix programs. Your body doesn't actually crave those things, but it's afraid to tell you. So then what you can do is you can start building authority. Like, body, like let's take a sleep cycle. And again, if it doesn't work right away, just realize that you just adopted a feral toddler and it's going to take some time, depending on how detached. So if you are slightly connected, you're probably doing some sort of exercise program, okay? You're doing some sort of meditation every day. Your self-talk is going well. Your body is starting to intuitively urge you in certain directions. Basically, like your system is coming online again. And for this work, we want to practice in the basic elements of life, like food, sleep, shelter, cleanliness, because matrix programs are going to try to get you to use the wrong soap, all kinds of stuff. Okay? And remember, for divine feminine, the way that we're going to be able to sense any sort of danger is through the nose. And now let's look at COVID. What was people losing? Sense of smell. Because as the divine feminine rises, it's going to be like, I smell bullshit. But see, the masculine is not, their sensory, like their danger alert does not come from smell. It comes from seeing. So they see the danger and we smell it. We sense it. They touch it to feel the danger. This is why I'll tell my son, why do I have to tell you these things? Don't put your hand in fire. Which seems very obvious to me, but I gotta touch it. That's a boy for you, okay? A girl, like, I can feel the flame way over here. But there you go. Okay. But again, if we start actually like, body, how do you really feel? If you took the time, right? And now, ladies, really important that you are 4 different people every month. Even if you've had a hysterectomy or you've gone into menopause, you have a 4-week cycle of your life. Stop being on the man cycle, which is hurry, 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 go, go, go. You don't have a life every day like they do. Yours takes 4 weeks. There's a summer, there's a winter, there's a fall, okay? And I want you to be aware of that because that's going to give you different intuition. If you can tap into that different type of intuition. So like, let's just say you've had a hysterectomy, you haven't had periods in a really long time, okay? Then what you would do is just work off of the moon cycle and look at what phase she was in and just work her cycle. Just be on her cycle, okay? And then what you would do is you tap into that energetic because that's the magnetism. And that is electromagnetic energy is what clears dark matter. Like zaps it into dust. So the more electromagnetic I am, the more I can clear. The more influence I have and the more commandment I have. Now, you're still going to be able to command all these contracts gone, even if you're not super electromagnetic, but we want to work towards that because it's going to give you instant healing in your body because the more electromagnetic you are, the more healing you can receive from source energy. Okay? The more energy you can download, the more information you can download because you ain't getting off the island without your body. And I've told you this for years. It's you and your body. It doesn't matter what state of being it's in. Because I'll tell you, the chosen ones, the ones that were here to choose themselves, You guys have been under radar since the day you were born. Okay. And you have been abused some way that feels like jail. Okay. And I don't know if it's family abuse, you know, or physical abuse or illness or money, but you're going to have something. And it's going to be kind of like no matter what happens, you can't break free from it. Or it's just like a lack of joy or something. You'll find it when we go look for it. Now, guys, it's just it's not going to be as serious because they didn't see the masculine energy as a threat. And so, yes, their contracts are there, but they don't have the underlying bully energy. They have other ones. And I haven't seen all of them yet because I'm not a guy. So when we are sitting down together, I'm going to channel them for you. And I'm going to channel based on you guys. So I might say, there's someone here. I won't call you out. I'll say someone here has this contract. And then I'll say, do you? And then I'll give you the language you'll say out loud to how to nullify that. And then I'll teach you how to do this yourself. So then when you're just like driving around or something and you get a thought, then you can do it yourself. And then we're just going to start hacking into these things. But if you don't have authority in your body, you're going to forget to do this. You're going to be like, this isn't going to work for me. This isn't going to, and then you're going to start doing it, but you're not going to feel like, you guys, when we like, get really pissed and it's like finally we step into our power, like that's how it's going to feel, but not angry. It's like you don't have the wrath of hell in you, but you're going to be like you're going to have like a tone of voice that you didn't have before. For me, it's like I just reflect back like when the kids were little and I had to use the dad voice, and not angry and not cruel, but just like intention. Right? Because again, your body doesn't have to believe that you are a child of God. It just has to go along with you. Okay? You have to use the body as a conduit. Right? So it's like Moses was like, God, can you part the Red Sea? And God was like, you're standing right there. So if you look at the Bible, it's like it's telling you like you do it. So we don't want to keep giving our power away to guru energy. Like if I'm in a session with you, I might say something, but that don't cling on to me saying it for you. I want you to say it in your God voice. Because then what happens is the only time that you can do anything is if you hear my voice. Because remember that the animal body you're wearing is loyal to who has power. Okay? And so when we go into the guru states, then we're like, the only time I can do this clearing is if I hear this dude's voice. That's because your body doesn't trust you. It trusts that person. So this is why I'm always saying, if you're listening to like a Steve Noble, like meditation, say what he's saying so you become the authority of your own body. Then you won't need anyone outside of you. Because if you feel like you don't have authority, and your body needs that person, but that person doesn't know how to delete this contract, I'm going to take you through all the basic big ones, and then you're going to just be seeing them everywhere. And then we're going to be working this in tandem perfectly. Okay. Now, for some reason, you're like, I don't want to do this Jedi thing. I'm going to go over here. At least you'll have control and command over your own body again, because you know that you can say, body, regulate my weight. Did you know you can do that? Body, reorganize my metabolism. Body, empty your gut if you're constipated. This is the authority you're going to have. So notice what belief came up when I said that. Did part of you go, oh yeah, I could do that? And then part of you is like, I can't do that. Okay. This is why I'm saying these things, because you can tell a headache to go away. You can take an entity to the light. You can reconstruct some part of your body, right? You can say, neutralize cysts in my womb. The body is at your service. and you are God. Wherever you put your energy is the life force energy required to do it. So let's say I'm focused on my metabolism, and I'm focused on my metabolism regenerating back into my 7th-year-old body or whatever. And then I give my body the command, and my imagination of that syncs together, and it's 2-point energy. So now I'm 0-pointing my own command by my voice, my imagination, and the body's like, got it. And then the body will do it. So every time you believe that you're getting older, that's a program. Anytime you believe you don't have a fast metabolism, program. Anytime you feel that you can't heal your body, program. Okay? Anytime we say, I can't. Now, when we say that out loud, what we're doing is re-signing that contract. So no, stop saying that. Because whether you believe it or not, you are the voice of God. And so when you say, I can't do something, the whole universe reorganizes for that to be re-true. You're like signing your name over the last time you signed it. And it's going, the whole matrix is designed for you to feel like you can't. If this was easy, we would have figured this out 1,000 years ago. We've been sitting in this shit for a really long time. And that system is getting smarter and smarter. So every time you are near your phone, it is learning you. Okay? Now, I have made my phone my second body. All right? They showed me how to do this. So I have pulled the loyalty of the matrix away from my phone, and now it's loyal to me. And I'll give you an awesome scenario. So I have been trying to get my son to do like a mommy-son date and watch, my favorite movies, August Rush. That's my favorite movie in life. And he just won't watch it with me, okay? And so I just recorded my phone like 2 days ago. We get into the car, and I turn the car on, and it starts playing the soundtrack from the movie. And I just got so joyful, and I started singing, and he was like, you're so weird, Mom. But my joy was like overtaking him. And I was like, oh, I love this part. And I was sharing it with him, and I could feel him like getting excited about it. But then I thought to myself, why is this song playing? It's not on my playlist at all in the car. Then I thought, oh, maybe it's on my Pandora. Then I went to my Pandora and another song was playing. And then I went to my iTunes and another song was playing. And as soon as I opened it, this song was not playing anywhere, but it was streaming through my iPhone. Okay, that may seem like, but there's no way that could happen because it wasn't in any queue lined up anywhere. But I had just been telling my son, oh, I really want you to watch this with me. So now my phone is like, here you go. Instead of showing me what the Matrix wants me to look at on my phone, now I'm getting what I want to look at on my phone, and it's actually playing a soundtrack for me. Okay? So you don't have to worry about technology learning from you and listening to you. That's a program. And I just want you to realize that you are in the Truman Show, and at any given time you can be like, okay? And when you clear enough programs, you're gonna make so much space of light in your body that now God can glory through you. All of your Imagineering work, all the stuff you've been dreaming about in your heart, and it doesn't have to come from some guy. It doesn't have to come from, the bank. Because one thing God told me in a meditation is stop thinking money comes from banks. Otherwise, how are we going to change the system and give it to you in other ways? Because you all have a belief, which is a program. Okay? Because, oh my gosh. But again, we can be like, hey, they're stealing our money. We signed our own name to give all this away. We said, okay, we're going to buy a house. Then we're going to go in debt for it. You guys are going to get paid on it, and then we're going to go in debt for it, and we're going to pay you again with interest. We signed up to do that. Then a creditor is going to give you a credit card. They're going to get paid on that credit card. Then we're going to rack up those charges, and then we're going to pay that company back. And we're like, okay. But again, it's almost like when you buy your first home, you don't even look because you want it so bad. You're just like, you sign your life away and then you're like, oh, what did I sign up for? But this time, it's not like there is nothing. And when I say this, I have so much joy in my heart. There is not one contract in the universe that you can't null and void. None. Every single one is your free will. But if you don't believe that, right? And you got, I can't even believe we've been able to go live this long. That shows you how much power I'm getting. Every single time I've tried to show someone how to take spirits to the light, their mic always mutes. Not mine, but theirs. So I can feel that I'm starting to get even more authority here. And that's why I'm really excited for this new training. Okay, so your basic needs like sleep. I want you to stop saying I don't sleep well. Stop saying these things. I don't care if you've had this experience. You say tonight, body, and you know what? Remember, you're adopting a toddler that's feral. It is completely addicted to the matrix. It is unloyal to you. It's manipulating. It's sick. It's violent. It's curious. It's going to take time. This isn't going to be like right away. Okay. And you're going to want to put it on routines, because what is the best thing to make an animal or a small child feel safe and happy is a routine. I don't mean a routine of the matrix, but I mean a routine that's going to get you to break that stallion in a loving, kind way, which means you've got to exercise it every day. And it's not going to want to. You've got to wiggle. Okay. If you are just wriggled in pain, then you can go to a pool. But you are going to have to put some effort into this. Because another part of the matrix is, oh, if it's not easy, I don't want to do it. Oh, this feels hard. That's a matrix program. Okay. So you're going to have to stand up to those little tiny firewalls, and you're going to have to break through, because your intuition is not all the time supposed to make you comfortable. That is not intuition. I'm going to be comfortable. Like, especially if you guys are getting cramps and stuff like that, that's really a great time to move. You had a bad day, go move. Because the more of that energy you bring into you, the more dark matter you create. Okay. The more dark matter you create in your body, the less it's going to be harder to get it back. That's what I mean. The more entities that live in there rent free, the more your body is hiding from the matrix, the harder it's going to be for you to get in there. Okay. And so you're going to have to do certain things that the body feels uncomfortable doing and that you're uncomfortable doing. You're going to hear a voice like, this is so silly. Your body's not going to do that. It 100% will. But you've got to think like a child. And it's almost like a small child is going to walk up to a big horse and give it an apple. So your inner child is not afraid of any of this. But you've got to be like, I would highly recommend talking to your body all day as your new best friend. Okay. Body, how are you feeling right now? Body, you let me know if you get tired. And again, these are just receptors that you have turned off. Think about it. We get in pain, we turn off the pain. It gets a sensation or a feeling, we push it away. Okay. So now it's like, well, I need a master. And so it hooks into the matrix. And this is why it's so hard to heal it. And like another thing I was telling Donnie yesterday is like, one thing I noticed when I first started going through this, if you're a trained healer, you weren't trained to heal yourself. You have authority over other people's bodies. And that's why it's so easy for you to heal other people, because your modality it gave you authority over other people. So you could just sit down and blah, blah, blah. But then it was like, now you start to say that to yourself and your body's like, what? But you don't even feed me right. Why should I listen to you? I don't trust you. Don't put your hands on me. You're like, but I'm your mom. And you're like, ah. Okay, because remember, if you're in an abusive relationship or your boss is abusive, your body has loyalty to them, because your body is going to friend the enemy to stay alive. Just saying. So, ladies, if you are going through that, go into nature and start practicing this. Okay? And in the next session, I'm going to show you how, ladies, to turn on your feminine energy, and men, I'm going to show you how to work with your feminine energy. Because again, in the matrix, we actually pulled our feminine energy out and put it into a box, basically, so it wouldn't be a direct contact, because that's part of the enslavement program, is that you dismantle yourself. Remember, masculine energy is separate and divide, and their mind is compartmentalized. Divine feminine, everything is inclusive. So you're going to have to hook your hardware back on. And so you are one system again, because like you know, the emotions over here and the thoughts are over here and, you know, everything's over here. And so you're going to have to get your system back online. But basic trust, like putting yourself on a good schedule that is very kind for your body, because it's not just like, body, I love you, but how are you treating it? Okay. You do not have to be perfect with your diet. You do not have to be perfect with any of this. I just want you to build rapport, relationship, and start listening to it. Remember, Matrix is going to be demanding right now. Super make you uncomfortable, super. And a lot of the anxiety that you're feeling, you guys, is your body afraid of the Matrix. Meaning there's a program that's running that your body's afraid of. So if you just have like a weird anxiety attack, it's your body having the anxiety attack, not you. And that's why you're like, why am I? Your body is afraid of the Matrix. The Matrix is doing something to your body behind your back. Okay. So we'll get into all that, but we can't really go anywhere if you don't listen. So out there, parents, and I think all of you are parents to either animals or children. And so when they are at a certain age, they can't talk to you, but you still figured out how to take care of them, right? You know, you understood their little noises or their body language. And so you've got to start studying yourself like that, right? Like I know my dog like so well. I know what he's up to, okay? But that's because I've been studying him because he's ornery. All right, I have to. Like I got eyes in the back of my head, right? So the body is the same way. And remember, its loyalty isn't to you, but it absolutely loves you more than anything in this universe. That is one thing that always is true. No matter how loyal it is to the one that abuses it, it loves you. Because it's actually the manifestation of your own soul. And so the soul is like in love with its own manifestation. And it loves you so much, but it just doesn't feel like you love it. And so, of course, it's going to let entities come in because that's the only one they have to play with. Right? So one step at a time. Like, let's put our bodies, like, but I want you to, and this is going to sound weird, but you've got to use voice command. You can use in your mind, talking to your body in your mind, but there's more authority in the vocal cords, okay? Because the vocal cords are going to go all the way to the diaphragm, which means the vibration is actually going to affect the parts of your legs and feet that the mind can block, okay? So if I give myself a mind command, my feet might not hear that if I'm really disassociated with. But if I say, body, right, activate joy, I'm going to start to feel tingles in my belly. So these are all games, and I didn't even have to imagine that. But you want to start telling it, and then you want to say, you did such a good job. Okay? You did such a good job. And then it will start to listen to you. Okay? And we're not going to ask it to like defunct programs right now, because right now we're just building trust and rapport. We're not asking it to like put its neck on the line for the Matrix right now. Because right now its loyalty is to the Matrix. And so if you just start asking for basic needs being met, this is how you're going to sync up and learn how it works, when it works. You're going to get to know the personality of your body a little bit better. And then when we start, like we're going to build a union, okay? Because unity consciousness has to start with me, myself, and I first. Then once I'm fully integrated in my Trinity, ain't nothing stopping me from my freedom. Because all I need to do to build my heaven on earth or my divine matrix from my design is to have union and full communication and collaboration of the me, myself, and I. That's it. I don't need anything else. I don't need money. I don't need land, nothing. I just got to be same page, same love, one love. And we're going to start with the body, okay? The body. So imagine your body is under hypnotic control. Your soul is somewhere in the matrix. Okay? So as you start to take the body back, your soul is going to start integrating more in. And then the spirit can integrate. And then it's just like you're Jesus walking around. And this, yes, will happen in our lifetime. Yes, 100%. Okay? All right. I don't want to overwhelm you, but start with the sleep stuff. Start with the food. Right? And then just at least listen and like, oh, am I getting two different stories? The Matrix, what it wants me to eat, and then what my body wants to eat. Okay. Or am I just getting one voice, but it seemed very much like eat this now, or it was more of an emotional need? So I'm not asking you to be perfect at this. Right now, it's more of like I said, if you adopted a feral toddler, there would be some time to like just watch it and like, find its strengths and its weaknesses, like, not get attacked by it. So be kind, be loving, talk to your body as much as you can. Constantly use your havening and your self-hypnosis techniques that I've showed you guys over time. And this is why I'm going live every day, because my service to humanity is to prepare them and at least give them a choice. So I'm giving them these like little Jedi mind hacks, but every single thing I'm giving them is exactly what I'm going to be giving to you guys in a bigger way. And you guys actually know why. But if I just put it out there, then at least it's in the collective, right? And people will get what they need from it. I can't, again, I cannot chase anyone's free will, but I just feel that it is time to be of service. And so if any of you guys have these messages in your heart and you're not going online live to share, that's a program. If you have a message in your heart and you're not sharing it, that's a program. Okay? I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying that's why you're not. Okay? Because when you think, oh, well, what's the point? I'm not an expert at that. That's a program. Okay? Because anything that steals your shine or your glow or your abundance or your health is a program.